Do you ever wonder what happened to your friends from high school? I mean, you were so close. You laughed together, you cried together, you shared some of the best years of your lives together. And yet, somehow through life, you just lost touch. Now it's time to relive those moments once again. Introducing the podcast that takes you back in time to the place where it all began. This is Class Reunion. We're bringing you all the gossip, secrets, and scandals from your high school days that you won't want to miss. Join us as we catch up with old classmates and dive into the wildest stories from our high school days. From those legendary parties to the infamous cliques, we're spilling all the tea on who's who and what really went down. So grab a seat, turn your volume up, and get ready for a trip down memory lane. Class Reunion, the podcast that reunites us all.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Class Reunion. I have with me Carla Ondrasik, and I need you to take a notepad and a pen or pencil and listen up, because you're going to walk away with some tidbits that are going to be life-changing. So I'm so grateful to have her on. I'm just going to talk about her a little bit, and then she will do a much better job of getting you up to speed of who she is. But, you know, she likes to say she was raised as a gambler's daughter because she just does things, and she's moved across country. She's changed careers. She eventually landed a role of VP in creative writer development for EMI Music Publishing, which led her to work with people like Barbra Streisand, Christina Aguilera, Jewel, Johnny Mathis, Cher. The whole list goes on. NSYNC, Mariah, Carey, eventually meeting her husband, John of Five for Fighting, they've been happily married for 25 years. So I think that career path also was serendipitous to finding her husband as well. So through all of that, she just kind of realized that she's, gung-ho and has always done things, figured it out and taken action, and kind of looked around and said, gosh, there's a lot of people out there struggling with the word trying. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that, which led her to her new book that will be coming out, Stop Trying. And we're going to talk about it because I had the opportunity to speak with Carla and do some fun exercises, and I failed miserably. So not only can I value from what she has to share in her self-help book, I know all of you will, because I'm telling you, if there was a jar for every time I said the word trying, I could be in Switzerland and back in no time. I could cross the globe. It's embarrassing how many times I said the word. And we had a perfect example. Prior to this, there was a little bit of a hiccup on connecting. And I'm telling you, the average person, because you taught me not to say it, would have probably said, I'm trying to download this. I'm trying to connect here. I'm trying to wait on this on my computer. We sat there together and figured this out, and we did it. You took action to do it. I took action to find out alternative ways. And if I had not met you, I guarantee you, I would have had a tip jar of, saying the word trying 15 times just for that exercise alone. So we do not, as human beings, realize the impact of our words connected to our brain.
That's it.
So that's my introduction. I'm passionate about who you are and what you're going to talk about. So I just had to set it up with, when you walk away from this, realize how many times you say that dirty word. It's terrible. I'm telling you, it's changed my whole perspective. So Carla, welcome, welcome, welcome.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for that introduction. It's really fun to hear people change their language and to see the light, Yeah. So it's exciting for me and exciting for the person.
So talk about how you came to this revelation, because your career has been so broad and so exciting. And if anybody on the outside was watching it, they would say, gosh, this woman can do just about anything. But you did pause and decide to help others. When did that transition from all of these accolades and incredible people that I've met that you had make you take the path into writing a book?
Well, I'm so passionate about this that it's almost like I couldn't not do it. Just everything,
like a calling.
It's my calling, really. And I hate saying that. It sounds airy-fairy, but it's very true. It's how I live my life. It's how I've raised my children. It's a part of my soul. And, at this point in my life, when I would love to be slowing down, I'm just getting started. I'm just being pushed to do this. And it's really exciting. So that's it. I can't not do it.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And that's part of the reason why I was wanting you on, because when I knew you had all of these great things happen, I thought she is still doing. She is still doing. And we oftentimes get caught up in this, whether it's an empty nest syndrome or we're kind of to the end of our career or any life issues that have happened in our 50 plus, let's just put that out there. Mm-hmm. We stall sometimes and freeze and don't know how to move forward because we do a little bit of the self-pity route. It just happens. It's some kind of like, but I'm trying to do this, or I'm working, I've sent out 1,500 resumes this week and I'm trying to, and then you realize that the second half isn't going to have impact until you start doing. And I've said this before, I didn't know a thing about podcasting, nothing about this field. I was always in software and I just decided to take the leap of faith. And so I want Carla to encourage you that, yes, she's a rock star, but you can too. Like you absolutely can too. There's nothing stopping you, and it's how you speak to yourself. You and I spoke about, I was thinking I was making such great progress because I stopped using the word I'm sorry, or I was more conscious of it, right? You're in the grocery store and you're all trying to go down the same aisle. And I inevitably would say, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. And I'm thinking, who's to say who was right or wrong in that little pre-collision, right? And so I was really cognizant of starting to say, excuse me, or a nothing, or not saying anything. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I was in such control of my words until I met you. And I realized I use the word trying for just about everything that I want to do or say I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. So talk about that word as a whole from, it's really just an illusion, right? So I'd love for you to dive into the word a little bit more and then we'll get into the book. But I'm telling you, you have no idea how many times you say it, and it's a disservice to yourself.
It really is. Earlier you said as we get older and we're like, well, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying so hard to do these things. But the problem isn't that you're not trying hard enough. It's that you're trying in the first place. Yes. That's the thing right there. So if you take the try out, your brain tells your words tell your brain what to do and your actions follow. So when you say you're trying to do something, it means one set of actions. And when you say you're doing, it's an entirely different set of actions. And we have this misconceived notion of what trying means. We think that it's a positive word, it's an encouraging word, that it's going to move the needle forward. And we think that because we've been taught to try our whole lives. We've been taught by our parents to try harder, try again, try your best, just try it. So the dictionary definition of try, let's talk about what it means to try, okay? So we try because we're taught to try, we try because we think it's a positive thing. But what does it mean to try really? Mm-hmm. That's where you have to go to the beginning, the core. And the dictionary definition is an attempt or an effort to do something. But really, trying is a half-hearted attempt and an effort because when you try, you are immediately putting failure as an option. Your brain is saying, well, I might not succeed, so I'm going to try. So there's failure. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, okay? Brain. Yeah. That's a mic drop right there. Yeah.
Right? And secondly, when you try, you can rely on excuses and blame, and there's zero accountability, so there's no consequence. So just let's say I'm going to try and be there at 9:30, okay? And you don't show up at 9:30, you're there at 9:40, okay, or 9:45. So you walk in and you say, well, I couldn't get here because the line at Starbucks was too long. Okay, you're blaming literally a line, okay? Or I didn't get here on time because my alarm clock didn't go off. Blame. or an excuse. I'm sorry, but whatever. And then you get there and nobody can be mad at you because you just said you would try to get there at 9:30. Okay. But it's a different story if you said, I'll be there at 9:30, and you will have to be there at that time. Airlines, they don't say try and be here. We want to try and take off. It's be here, we're boarding, or you'll miss your flight. Okay. So we don't try to get to the airport. We are there. We don't want to lose our ticket. We don't want to miss the flight. We don't want to pay extra. We don't want to lose out on a day of our vacation. So we don't try to get to the airport. We are there. Okay. So trying is this half-hearted attempt or an effort where you can rely on excuses and blame and you don't have any consequences. Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons that we try, because we want to lean on those things. We want that little safety net. Okay. So what else does it mean to try? It's just a fancy word for procrastination. If you say, okay, I'm going to try and do it, you're procrastinating. It's just, you don't want to admit that. You want another way of saying it.
Yeah.
I give this example of my son who recently moved to Texas, and I still get the alerts that he needs a cleaning. And I called him and I said, Johnny, have you made a dental appointment? Found a dentist in Texas? And he's like, Mom, I'm going to try and do that next week. Well, I know exactly what that means. And so does he. It means I'm going to put it off and I'm going to procrastinate and it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Well, that alone helps me communicate with my son a little bit better, right? Because I'm not using more action words. I'm still communicating in the, hey, are you going to, maybe think about doing this? Or I'm giving him the out. Then he gets the out. And then it's like, it never happens. And I'll call him a couple months later and say, did you? And it's like, well, we didn't have an action conversation. We had a promissory note,
Exactly.
Really.
Exactly.
Yeah. And women are super guilty. Well, not that men aren't either, but women are super guilty in our friendship circle. When you talked about meeting, come on, there's, if there's 4 women, there's going to be a couple late. Like that's just the nature of the beast. And they're going to tell you, oh my gosh. And they're going to, lament on why they're not there on time. They made specific choices to do something else than being there.
Yeah. So what's exactly happening is, so the person that your friend, there's always one person at the restaurant that's there early.
Yep.
And then there's the one exactly on time. And then there's the straggler. Okay. So the person that's trying to get there on time, they're going to shoot off one more email. They look at the clock and they say, oh, it's 10 till, I only said I would try to get there. So they're going to shoot off one more email, or they're going to get in their car and say, oh my gosh, I don't have enough gas. They're going to stop at the gas station. The person that's going to be there, they're going to make sure the night before that they have a full tank of gas or enough to get to breakfast or lunch. They're not going to shoot off the last email. They're going to get in their car. Mm-hmm. They're going to respect everybody's time, and they're going to be there on time. It's a different direction. When you're going to be there and when you're trying to be there are 2 different actions. There's a visual, the path of trying in anything that you're intending to do. The path of trying is this beautiful, windy path with flowers and benches and coffee shops and spas and never-ending roads that you can go off, little paths, and you can stay on the path of trying forever. Mm-hmm. And people do. They stay on that path because it's so comfortable and inviting and wonderful forever. And the path of doing is like an airstrip without the line down the middle. It's just beginning and end. You don't have any distractions. There's no side paths. There's no other places to go to rest. It's from here to your goal. It's like we had a goal this morning to make this happen, and we just focused on it, and we did everything we needed to do, and here we are. Now, just because you're on the path of doing, it doesn't mean you're guaranteed success. It just means that you have a much better chance of getting there without all of that other stuff. And when you're on the path of doing, you may fall down, you may stumble, you may get knocked out cold, you may have to go backwards, but you'll get up and you'll keep going and heading toward your goal. And in fact, the studies show that when people try, when they're on that path of trying and they fail, maybe they'll try again. They'll get up and they'll try again and fail. And then they're going to give up. They give up. When you try and fail, you tend to give up. When you do and fail, you get up, you learn the lesson, and you do it again a different way. And if you fail, you learn the lesson and you keep doing. Look at Elon Musk. Look at our space program. Just look at the doers. They don't stop. They don't give up. They learn and they keep going.
Well, and so beautifully said. And when you were sharing the visualization, okay, I'm at the Starbucks. I'm smelling the flowers. I'm on that beautiful path because you described it so nice. I wanted to go down it.
Lovely.
But I think where people fall in a trap of repeating it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to criticize friendships or family members or outside of distractions, but when you personally by yourself, this is why sometimes sharing your goals and your aspirations should be to each his own, right? Because if I'm telling everybody I want to be a number one podcast, for example, but I'm on the trying path and I'm stopping and I'm having coffee and I'm going to the bar and I'm picking flowers, but I'm telling everybody I'm going to be a number one podcast person, I will have some naysayers. I will have some supporters. I will have all the things distracting me along the way. And I should have been just doing this by myself. I should have just been going from A to how do I get there? What steps do I need to take? And that's just an example, but think about how many times you're in that trying lane and you are so easily distracted, and the noise from not ill intention, but you're just getting feedback from a lot of people that are going to have something to say about what you want to do, not try. And you miss out. The speed to the end of that path is going to take that much longer, and you will give up sometimes. I mean, or of the top 5 things you want to do, you'll maybe try to continue to stick with 2. Yeah. How do you see that? Because that's the hardest part, is trying to go solo on your dreams.
It's exhausting to try, first of all.
Yeah.
Let's go back to just say you have the goal to be the number one podcaster. Okay. Right. So a number one podcast. So what does that look like? Do you know what you're doing? First of all, personally, and I have it in the book, I believe in the power of silence. There are a lot of people right now that have no idea I'm even writing a book. They have no clue. Oh. I am just doing it. I'm not sharing it. I'm not giving my power away. I am not dissipating that energy. I don't want to open the door to any negativity. I've always believed in the power of silence, because if you're going to do it, just do it. You don't need, I'm reaching out to people that can help me, that are on my team. Yeah. And they're going to move me forward, but power of silence. Okay. Secondly, if you wanted to be the number one podcaster, you would be reaching out to people that have very successful podcasts. Right. What is it that you do? What have you found helpful? That's what I did in my career. I went right to the top and took people to lunch and asked them, how do I get to this person? How do I become who you are? And there's probably 25 things that you could be doing more to get more viewers or different people to speak. If that was your goal, there's more that you can do. Your path would be very different. So number one, you just want to, first step is to don't share it, just block it all out and protect yourself and say you're going to do this, and then do everything you need to do to get there.
Because there's that saying, like, silence is your greatest success, right? And I think so many of us, if you really sometimes sit around with people and you have those deep conversations of, I would love to take this as my next path, or whatever it is. I'd love to remarry. I'd love to travel more, whatever it is. When you get in those discussions and everybody around there is in a supporting nature of those dreams, you're dreaming, you're not doing. And we can get confused that that's the positive influence. And the hardest part is breaking away into little subsets, like you said, of I'm going to learn from this person. There is an adorable woman who I followed on social media who left the United States. She moved to Italy because she fell in love. And you've done this cross country. And so that's a whole world in itself, language, getting her own friends, getting her bearings straight. So she wrote a book about it and on her own, never said it on social media, never said I'm going to write a book, just kind of like was taking it all in. And she put a thing out for Kelly Clarkson and said, I think the name of the book, and I'm going to do a disservice, I think it is, We All Deserve Good Gelato or something like that. And she went to Kelly Clarkson, copied her on a social media page and said, I would love to share my story with you. Now, had she possibly told people about that, you're never going to get on Kelly, or good luck. Oh, that would be great. By God, she did it. She just was doing the whole time. She moved. She did something the opposite of probably what a lot of people thought she should do by falling in love and moving to Italy. Then writing this book, which she never mentioned. And then all of a sudden, she's like finding an outfit to go on Kelly Clarkson's show. I love that energy. How do we teach an old dog new tricks? Actually, this advice goes across the board of any generation, honestly. But because my audience is typically, in the second half of Joy, how do you break that habit? How in the book is it going to help me stop trying and doing?
So I think first, just becoming familiar with the difference between what we thought trying is and what it really is.
Yeah.
And, becoming aware that trying is a mental activity. You said it a little while ago. Trying is thinking about it. Trying is talking about it. Trying is a mental activity. Doing is a physical action. Okay. So becoming aware of the difference between becoming aware of what trying means and what doing means. Okay. Then noticing when you say try, why are you choosing to try in that moment? Okay. And being very conscious of yourself and then being conscious of when other people say they're going to try on your behalf. So if someone says, okay, I'll try and contact that person for you. I'm going to try and send you this recipe. I'll try and send you the information from the vacation we went on. You need to address that and say, will you be sending that to me or not? Can you get that to me by the end of the day? There's so many things you can do. Hold somebody accountable. And then their words go from a try to a do. So can you get me that by 5:00 today? I have a girlfriend who I walk with, and when we're hiking, we're talking about so many things. Oh, I just read this great book, or you have to listen to this podcast, class reunion that I just did. Or when we stayed here, we stayed at this hotel. Yeah. She will send me a text before I'm even home going, please send me the book, the recipe, and the whatever. Like, she is on it. She is not going to wait for me to try and get all that stuff to her. She holds me accountable. She sets the deadline. And by gosh, I'm terrified. And I just get all the information. So that's some ways that you can do it. And really, I would say to have so much fun with this. It's a brand new concept. We have never really been aware of it before. And I think it's exciting. One of the things that women do, we all do it, but women more than men, is we will offer to try because we think it's kinder. We're so afraid of saying no. Okay.
Yes. Or asking, like when you even said asking for specifics. I mean, if you can't take try out of your own vocabulary, practice the doing with somebody else. We don't often talk that way to other people. That's a great place to start. When you were talking about that, I was like, oh, that's right. I say try even to other people. Can you try to send me that recipe? Or can you, whenever's convenient. What's up with that?
Right? It's like, I want this, Now you can't affect other people's actions, but you can affect your own actions.
Right. My language I'm using. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
It will help the outcome. So
it's terrifying though, Carla, when you say it's fun. It's because you wrote the book on it and you know what you're doing. But like for someone like myself that's entering into this conversation and learning about it and speaking to you a couple times already, I'm crushed at how much I say it.
Well, first of all,
it crushes me. It's like, I cannot believe I probably use it 10 times in talking to you. Well, how does that equate to a day? That's terrible.
You're in such good company. You're in such great company. So the first thing is be excited every time you say try, and then you stop yourself. It's like, boom, I got this. I'm onto it. And you know what? Your life is going to change. And it affects the very little everyday things all the way up to health, happiness, relationships, career, your relationship with your children. Every single thing is affected by our words and what we say. And I have seen this change people's lives instantly. Like within 24 hours, I have seen a life change. This guy at the park where I go every day, I take the dog to the park and and I'd see this guy, he had these giant headphones on and he would just walk around the circle every day. And I never got to talk to him, but I was in the music business and always so curious, like, what's that guy listening to?
Right.
And one day I pull up, I literally was at that park this morning. I've been going there for 14 years since we've lived in the neighborhood with my dog, and he's 14. And so I got to the park this one morning and he was fiddling with the headphone. I'm like, I'm going to ask him. I finally have an opportunity. So I went up to him and I said, hi, I see you here all the time. And what are you listening to? And he's like, there are these motivational podcasts and I listen to books and on tape. And I have such a problem with, motivating myself. And there's all this stuff I'm trying to do. And I hear that word and I'm like, ding, ding,
right,
ding, ding.
Right.
So I looked at this guy and I said, so what are you trying to do? And he said, well, I'm trying to swim more. Like we have the brand new YMCA and we've got the Four Seasons and I just can't seem to get myself going. And I looked at this guy and I said, why don't you stop trying to go swim? Like, what? I said, stop trying to go swim and go swim. And that was it. I thought to myself, this guy's never coming back here. I've ruined his groove. I've just blown his sanctuary literally out of the
He just wanted to listen to it about it. He didn't want to do it. Yeah.
And 24 hours later, I pull up to the park and I see, this is 100 billion% true, this maniac screaming across the street, I did it. I swam. I didn't try. I swam. And boom, right there. It's everything. He was everything. The excitement, the pride. He learned something new. That guy has changed his whole life. He's quit his job. He changed his career. Oh yeah. He stopped trying. And it was that simple. Just stop trying to swim and go swim. We hide behind this word. We use it as a shield. And why? It's keeping you from everything that you want. If it's worth saying, I want to try and do it, do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. And
well, Carla, you did something, because here I am talking and interrupting you. Wait till you hear what I have to say, because I just interrupted you. But one of the things that you thought was beautiful, that you did that was beautiful, is because I wouldn't have done it this way. You said, just go swim. A lot of times, people who don't have the skill set to have the impact of silence would have said, go swim. What's stopping you? Why don't you go? We would have given him the door and the opportunity to list the excuses. I think when you said that and that was it, I was like, well, that is it. Yeah. There wasn't anything else she had to say. But I was visualizing myself and I would have said, trying to be you, I would have said, why not go swim? What's stopping you? Why aren't you going? I would have opened the door for him to share his excuses, because I think by nature we do that all the time.
That's right. That's right.
I need to learn your way. Yeah.
Very good point. I'm
learning, Carla.
Oh my gosh. So one thing I do want to make sure I say is one of the reasons that we say we'll try is because we think it's kinder. So as women, if someone says to you today, I'm having a fundraiser, it's going to be later tonight, and I'd love you to be there. You might say to them, okay, I'll try and come. I'll try and make it. Instead of, in that moment, first of all, fundraisers are not your thing. You're going to be busy. You know, you're not going to want to go, but you want to be kind. So we say, okay, I'll try and make it. Well, there's your out. First of all, you're not committing to go. You're just saying you'll try. So you're not going to be held accountable. But in that moment, many things are happening. Okay. When you say you'll try and go, now you've put it in your head. It's something else to think about. Now you've given yourself kind of something you're going to have to get out of later. You're going to think about it later. Instead of in the moment saying, thank you very much, but I'm sure I won't make it tonight. I appreciate the invitation. Let me know when you have another one, but I'm not going to go. That is so much kinder to that person and to yourself than saying you'll try. Now you've added another thing in your head that you said you'd try to do that you're going to think about later when you get home. It's like, but I don't really want to go. Should I go? Shouldn't I go? I don't have to go. I'm not going to go. It's all that crap in your head. When if you just say, I'm not going. No, thank you very much. It's clean. It's honest. It's gone. We say we'll try because we think it's kinder, but it's not to them or to you.
No, I mean, let's go to the music business. Call Me Maybe was a great song because I've been in sales my whole life, and maybe is the worst. It's like purgatory. Are you up or down? We don't know. So, yes and no is a full sentence. Maybe is a paragraph of nothingness. It's like a little bit of everything. And I am, it's not that I don't do it. I certainly do, but I know how much I hate it. So I do try to at least give a yes or no. It might take me a couple rounds of practice.
You just said, I do try.
My buzzer went off.
I'm the police. You just said, I do try to give a yes or no.
So here's my dollar bills. I've got to throw it in the jar. I'm telling you people, if you put a jar in your house, you're going to go to the Maldives in no time. It's just ridiculous.
I'm going to send you my stickers. This is the no try. Put this on your computer, put it in your water bottle. It is a practice, by the way. You have to be so kind to yourself. I am literally reprogrammed. I can't even try clothes on in the dressing room. I don't try them on, people. I put them on. They're going on. I'm going to see how it looks. You can't try to get pregnant. You can do everything you need to do to get pregnant, and you're either going to get pregnant or not, period. And by the way, when that baby's in your stomach, you can't try to have that baby either to come out. It's coming out. Okay. There's no, I'm going to try and push the baby. You are push it or you are getting it taken out.
I'm going to put this off for 12 months. Yeah.
It's everything.
So let's talk about the excitement of the tour for your book. So you will be traveling to publicize the Stop Trying book. And I want people to be aware of that. You are going to mail me, send me a DM if you want the Stop Trying as yourself. But I have a couple people in mind already that I'm going to pay it forward to because I know we could all use that extra assistance. So getting to this journey has been a lot, right? You learned so much along the way, and you are happily married for 25 years. You are an excellent mother, good relationship with your kids. How do you feel that going through the process of writing the book has changed any of those relationships? You mentioned your son with the dentist, but in general, it's much more complex than that. Have you felt the impacts at home with your journey with writing the book?
Just that I'm not as available as I used to be because I haven't cooked as many dinners as I would have because I'm working, but I'm really excited. I think as a person, when you're actively doing something that's life-changing or that's been a dream or is a brand new goal, just as a person, you just light up. You're on fire. Everything is vivid. And it's a great thing. My children are so proud of me. Now, I have to be clear. The book is out right now with my agent and we're, seeking publishers. So right now that's the stage that we're at. But when I hear my kids say, Mom, like you're writing a book, whether anything ever happens with it, the pride in them for me is so great. The support of my husband, like whatever you need, he's there for me, is great.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, there are people that have no idea of what I'm doing, and they'll know when the book is out at the bookstore. There's a reason for that, because I am holding my energy. I'm not trying, I'm doing, and I just need the greatest force to be with me. So I've learned a lot about myself and who it is that I am, who I feel very close to, that I could share this with. So yeah, I think it's all good things. It's great things in my life. And for anybody, if you've wanted to try to finally quit smoking, or kids to try and quit vaping, or try and read more books, or try to finally go to Nepal, or, wherever it is.
Right.
Once you decide you're going to do it and action starts happening, it's the most incredible feeling.
That's true. I mean, when you are actually doing it, it should become a habit, because you're going to enjoy the results of that. And I call the trying all the things that you mentioned. Sometimes people call them as a wish list, right? I wish I could lose weight. I wish I could do this. I wish I could change careers, and throw that out the window. Like, just, start today just with a couple things. Yes.
I want to interrupt you for a second, because I said all that, but at the same time, it's been terrifying.
Which is honest.
I have been walking on this cliff, and I'm just terrified. Yeah. Every new step I take, every yes I get, we fear success. We try because we're afraid of failure. Okay. We try because we fear success. We try for so many reasons. And so, it's been really scary, but I find that once I come to a point and I conquer that point, then I get to be afraid of the next thing, and you just build confidence. And so I didn't want to leave that out. That's so important. Joyride.
Carla, the fear of success is really, people will say that's not true, but subconsciously it really is, because we're in our bubble, and to go outside of it, it's very unknown. It takes us outside of a lot of our friendship circles. It takes us out of our habit of where we like to stay, our comfort zone. And so, we sabotage it more than we think the world is doing it to us.
Absolutely.
We are doing it. 99% of the time we're doing it.
Yeah.
And we like to blame other people, but really moving forward is our own Achilles heel.
It's our own. I would say to myself, before I even had an agent, okay, well, I don't really want to write a book, because I'm going to have to work hard again. I'm going to have to do meetings. I'm going to have to, start speaking. And I just don't really want to work that hard anymore. Those were things that were me being fearful of actually having success. Those were all the excuses, because I was afraid, what if this takes off, But the reality is, you just kind of evolve into the moment, and you can work as hard as you want at it. You can speak as much as you want. You define the rules of your success. So it shouldn't keep you.
Which is so interesting, because you were successful, right? You had a career that probably people were looking at going, gosh, she's crushing it. And yet to take another leap outside of that and do something again, it's okay. It's amazing that, you're saying, well, that was uncomfortable for me. I was successful here, but now I'm doing something totally different. And I had to fight within myself of like going beyond that. It's why, I don't know why I'm bringing up Kevin Hart, but one of the things I like about the dude is he knew early on he was a successful comedian. But when you look at all that's underneath him, the brands he has, or the projects, the production company, he's multifaceted outside of comedy. That's sort of where you're going, because you could have just rested at, I've been in the music business. I had all of these people that I worked with. I achieved success. No, you haven't challenged yourself to another area of life that you could be successful. And that's an author. Like, I think, and Kevin actually, if you ever watch that Heart to Heart, he's got a little thing on Peacock. Yeah. But one of the things he does is he'll have a guest on, And he tries to get out of them, like, what else are you interested in? What else are you interested in, to say to them, you're not just an actor. You're not just a comedian. You're not just a talk show host. What other things could you capitalize your success on to just make the world more vivid for you? Like you said, just expand it. Why are we resting even on our own laurels of success in one area? We're multifaceted people. We're allowed to be that.
Yes,
tap into it, right?
Yep, absolutely. We have those parts of ourselves that those are the places where we try. Okay.
Yeah.
So just take, a mom, we don't try to go to the grocery store or try to make, like, we tend to get the daily things done, the stuff that we need to do. We make our doctor's appointments. We do everything we're supposed to do, but it's that place where we dream, where we think. And that's where we're trying. So that's where I want everybody to just pick one and start doing it. Do something toward it. It's going to feel different. It's going to feel great. And each person has so many different facets of our life. And I feel like now that I'm doing this, other things dreams are growing that are beyond this.
That's what I mean. This is opening a door from somebody that was uber successful in her career, going to this path, who knows, and you're opening the door to other things beyond just this book. So the book is great, but you're right. Who knows where this is going to go? Mm-hmm. I see seminars, I see TED Talks, I see so many things, because it's a subject that every generation could still learn from. Male, female, any gender could learn from, because it is your work relationships, your family, who you encounter out in public, how many times you use that word trying. Oh my Lord. I need therapy on that one. It's so impactful. So I'm so grateful you brought it to my attention, and that I will start doing some action items and not just, make it an illusion. But the path in which you're taking this story is going to impact a lot of people. And I feel fortunate to have met you. And, I can't wait to meet you in person, hopefully at a concert. And I'm just grateful for your friendship. So thank you so, so very much. It's been a true pleasure to have you on Class Reunion. And
I want to say we're here talking because you're doing. You took yourself, remind yourself of that, right?
Yes.
You took yourself from thinking about something and trying, and you are a doer. You're already a doer. You've got it. It's in there. And that's what you've created this, which I'm so grateful to be a part of. So there you go. You need to really remind yourself of that and acknowledge that, because it's a beautiful platform, which is evolving actually from what it was when you started. You've had your 1 year, and now, I'm not part of your class reunion. And so you're branching out. So I think it's really,
I'm going to get teary-eyed.
Happy anniversary. And I also selfishly and unselfishly, I have an Instagram post where I pretty much do something every day. And it's a little hit, a reminder every day of how not to try or why not to try. It's a little inspiration. So it's my name at Instagram, Carla Ondrasik. And I just encourage everybody, tell your children, tell your friends, tell your spouses, just go to this Instagram and just get one hit a day. And it makes sense. It will remind you. A lot of times they're fun. I go up to ordinary people and ask them, what are you trying to do? Or why do you try? And it's really fun.
Oh, so, Carla, that's fantastic. May I share? I will share that as part of the podcast. And then it'll be down below. And then what about your website? Is that
website? CarlaOndrasik.com.
It's perfect. Her philosophy's on there and everything else. So good point. And I do a Friday follow that I started, because the other thing is social media can just kind of be out there and be stagnant unless you use it in the right way. And so I decided, I have small following, who cares? But on Friday, I just highlight people I love to follow.
Love that.
I do a Friday follow because not everybody my algorithms are all messed up because I follow such a variety.
Hormones, algorithms.
Right. Well, I mean, because I personally I have no like genre. I follow the oddest group of people that inspire, make me think, make me laugh. And I will definitely highlight you because, I just think that's the other thing is we don't know where to find all these gems and learn from. And that is unfortunately, the thing that social media has a fine line between of whether you like it or not. What you can learn from it and take away from it is there if you choose wisely. So I will be very excited to share your Instagram.
Thanks. And I'll follow yours and see what you're into.
I got homework to do, but I love it. I love it. Well, have a great weekend, my friend. It's been a pleasure. We did it this morning. I appreciate your patience. And I love that.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for being on Class Reunion. We'll hear you all next week.
All right, friends. That's it for this episode of Class Reunion Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the show, write us a review, and share this podcast with a friend. Until next time.